It's 7:40. Let's do this. Because sometimes we go through bumps in the road. And in the end, we're better for it. Because sometimes that stuff rubs off on you, the people you hang out with, the people you meet. Well, it helps shape who we are. That's part of all the neighborhood that we're talking about here. Good evening. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Now, if you were drawn in, perhaps, by some of the cool names on the screen, I hope that caught your attention, because in my Mayberry, my growing up, my childhood, I've happened to rub shoulders with some pretty famous people. But as I said before, we have no control on where we're born or who our parents are. And when I learned about Andy Griffith, his Mayberry, by some accounts, may have very well been in Manteo. Why am I talking about Manteo? Because one of the things we like to do here at WTKR is focus on the neighborhoods. I have been here, 3.5 months? I have gone to these individual towns chosen by me, and I've taken 80 photographs. Why is that important? Because Facebook will cap you off at 80 photographs, and because I like to see boots on the ground, I like to see the neighborhoods. Manteo just happened to strike me in a very funny way, because I've done quite a few of these, back 104 of them actually, 56 in Kentucky, I did 40 in Tennessee, and then I found out that Andy Griffith's Mayberry, as his final resting place is in Manteo. I learned a lot about him, and I want to share that with you coming up. But we first have to talk about something cool. I'm very grateful to have a sponsor. One of the cool things I have about Marco's Pizza is that we're giving away, in this very live stream, we're giving away free pizza for a year. A year? Yes. All you have to do, because we're going to do it again next week, all you have to do is go to this website, WTKR.com/Marcos, and there are 3 Virginia Beach locations. One in Chesapeake, Virginia, that's Greenbrier, and Hampton Boulevard in Norfolk. So if you're if you're within driving distance of those stores, that's where you can redeem the free pizza for a year. And you might say, what does that look like exactly? Well, the Pizzoli is a fantastic lunch item in my view. I love the pepperoni and sausage, the dipping sauce, but the Magnifico, the large pepperoni pizza, that's what this certificate's all about. You see how it's one large, one topping pizza monthly for the next year for free. You'll love it. And we're giving away free cheesy bread. So hang with me. I know we're here for weather. If you've come here for weather, you've come to the right place. If you're hungry, we're giving away free cheesy bread. All you have to do is use the promo code WTKR Cheesy. But I get ahead of myself. We got to talk about the weather. What's going on with the weather? We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. And look at that. This just flared up in the last 10 minutes. How appropriate. Let's get to the weather, because one thing you'll notice is most of this activity today has been down to the south in places like Skinnersville and Gum Neck. Now, some of the counties are highlighted a little bit lighter. That's our TV audience. That's our designated market area. But if you're watching us from Burt or Hertford County, you, in fact, are under a severe thunderstorm warning till 8:30. That means you could get 60-mile-an-hour gusts. So we're going to stop this, put this on the loop here, but let's go ahead and stop it and show you where that storm is right now. And based on what I'm seeing here on this storm, there's some track that we could do and give you an indication of where it's headed. If you've got comments, maybe you're in this area, this would be a great time to leave a comment. I'll do my best to put your name on the screen. Yeah, this storm is moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. So that's not too hard, is it? Let's just grab this little icon here, and we'll just move it to the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. Tell me when I hit 15. Is that 15? That's 15. Drop it. There it is. So we've got some towns on the screen. This is important because, let's see here, the towns that I'm looking at, oops, did they disappear? Let's see if we bring back. Okay, 748, Powellsville. This storm is going to be around White School at 748, Goose Pond at 752, and West Coleraine School at 758. And let's see, Bethlehem at 812. So the path of this storm, moving to the northeast, 15 miles per hour, the National Weather Service, to come back on camera here, go back on this side here, I think I'm over here. Yep, there I am. So I come back. One of the things you're seeing here is this storm is headed in this direction. Another way to look at this is maybe on this camera. So yeah, it's a little easier. So it's going to be in these neighborhoods in just a few short minutes. So if you get hail the size of a George Washington quarter, don't be surprised. Was this expected? Probably not. It's been a couple of nights now. We have such a high humidity atmosphere right now. It's very sticky. And when you have that type of rocket fuel, which we have with some of these storms, they can produce some downpours, they can produce some hail, and in this case, some damaging wind. The thought is it has 60-mile-an-hour gusts and quarter-size hail, and it's, again, radar indicated. I'm going to come back to this as needed, but once you know this is going to run, it appears, until precisely 8:30. That's how long that warning is in effect. We'll come back later. But meanwhile, there's not much to see here. I'm looking at just north of Hertford. There's a little spot of rain. Currituck maybe have had some rain earlier, but Skinnersville, if you go back over the last, I guess, 2 hours now, it was raining really hard around Gumneck. If you know where Gumneck is, some of those areas were getting torrential rain, and it seems like it's raining itself out. Which direction is that moving? That almost looks like it's moving northwest, the one around Gumneck. So these are the things that are happening in the here and now. Would love to hear from you. This is your chance to let me know what you're seeing, what you're feeling. I've got some comments in here. I think I'd put you on the screen. If you need some help, I'll do my best, because sometimes I have to leave the first comment to get the thing started. And maybe some of you have already put your comments in there, and I'll do my best to find you here. There you are. Let's go over here, and I toggle this on, and voila, hopefully it's there. Let's see, do I have any comments? Oh, I don't, so I'll be first to be in there. So hi there, and hopefully this will demonstrate for those who might be first time on this particular call. You'll see, hey, there he is. I think he is there. My comment hopefully will populate, and all will be good here. So that's what we're going to continue to see in, let's see, turn that back on. There it is. Tell you what, some of the software takes a little bit of practice. And there it is. So I could put this on the screen, and I could put you on the screen just like that. Wouldn't that be cool? We'll put your comment there, put your name and face there. If you get hail and you're in that area that we're watching, I would love to see it. It's not hard to do, and I promise I'll be gentle. So let's go back and take this off and get you back to the square one of where storms are. And I'll clear the telestrator so you can see the humidity is a factor. It's not only here, but it's in South Carolina, it's in Georgia, it's also back toward Memphis, and we've got also some a line of severe thunderstorms perhaps in parts of the west. I'm looking at those areas around Nebraska. Not only do we have the one we just looked at, but there's some severe weather right along northern Nebraska, areas now northeast of Denver. These are right at the moment, it looks like Valentine, right? There's a couple of nasty storms that have now just popped up. Flash flood warnings for Brown, Cherry County. Cherry severe thunderstorm warning till 6:15. That would be either central or mountain time, depending on how far west they are at this moment. So that's the big picture. I see some other comments that might be coming. I got someone who's on here. She's just maybe a reluctant Nancy Barco, but she's on here. Hi, Nancy. She says hello, and she's got her little picture she's got on Facebook there. I love it. So if you can leave me maybe a cat picture. If some of you have had like no picture at all, you can put a cat or a dog in there. I'm cool with that. But that's what she has displayed on Facebook. So Nancy, thank you for sharing that, and I hope to have a conversation with you. If you guys have something that you want to share, maybe an area of the country you want to look at, we can do that. Did you know that this is Father's Day weekend? Now, it's Father's Day, for some of us it could be a father figure. To be more inclusive, it could be a father-in-law, grandfather, whoever it is in your life that has meant something to you. This might be a great time to celebrate them. And I can tell you, around the Hampton Roads, Outer Banks, it's going to be very sticky. We got an 80% chance on Dad's Day itself, but a 60% chance on Saturday. Both days, very humid. When it rains, it pours. More on that in a moment. But 84 degrees, it's not going to be like off the chart hot, but because of that humidity, it's going to feel a lot hotter. I got a brother that lives in Vegas. He lives in single-digit dew points. He doesn't know what humidity is until he comes back east. Look at that, 90, 84. That's what I expect to find. If you need more intel, we can go one step further. Let's look at Dad's Day hour by hour. 9 o'clock in the morning, if Dad's going to be maybe firing up the grill, 75, just a 30% chance of storms. Once we go into, say, what do we got here? 79 at noon, a little bit of sunshine thrown in there, it goes to 40%. But by 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, as the afternoon wears on, you're going up to like 80%, right? 80% chance of rain on Father's Day. And it will be like when it rains, it pours. It's just an unsettled environment for the next 4 days. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's a lot of rain. And we got to cover it all here and then get to the other part. I want to give away the Marco's Pizza. Did I say Marco's Pizza? Oh yeah, we're going to be dishing out some free pizza. Isn't that cool? I love that. All right, so we go back. Let's go back to the maps here, right? We've got temperatures, lows. Started off at 70 in Norfolk, 64 in Suffolk. Suffolk, you hit 90 today, and Norfolk hit 89. That's what we were expecting. 89 in Hampton, 85 in Gloucester, and our friends down in Manteo, Where's Manio? It's down here. I have to circle it. Sometimes people are like, I don't know this area. Well, Manio's down here. Elizabeth City's here. They hit 87, and beautiful Virginia Beach hit 87 degrees today. You got a comment? We'd love to say hi to you. Who's on here? I got a lot of comments here. I think we got Marilyn Bell. She's popped down here with a note. A lot of comments on the David Aldrich weather page. Hope everyone has a great day, she says. And she's excited to say that it's beautiful here in tiny White Pine. Now, a couple of days ago, Marilyn Bell says White Pine is Mayberry for her because people, they like to say hello. You know, that's not true everywhere in the country. I understand that. One of the things that I like to do and try and communicate to many who might be on this call, someday, not if, but someday, not if, when a tropical storm or hurricane comes up the coast to the Outer Banks, to Hampton Roads, somebody's going to have to be that person to say those 4 dreaded words. You need to evacuate, right? Oh, don't say that. I mean, imagine, there's been a hurricane drought for New England. They've gone eons without a hurricane. Maybe it'll come back around. There was a big drought for Florida after they got Charlie and Jean, and then all of a sudden, years and years and years later, they get Matthew. So these storms, and we had Helene in western North Carolina last year. I was live streaming for hours because I was in Knoxville. We lost part of the I-40. We lost part of the highway. And they had like 33 inches of rain in just a few short hours. So these tropical storms, these hurricanes, they can do a lot of damage, right? Katrina did a lot of damage. So what I'm saying to you is be prepared. It's better to plan ahead and not be caught flat-footed, right? You can stock up. There's no lines right now for medication, for formula, for diapers. How are we going to get people off of Roanoke Island in several hours or several days? If grandma's in a hospital, or if someone's in a wheelchair, that's a massive coordination. And someday it'll come. It's not now. Maybe it's not this year, but eventually we got to be prepared, and we got to know our neighbors' names. That's my assertion. Because I think that's how we create the neighborhood, right? We talk about this neighborhood thing. You got to be aware who your neighbors are. Because if you have to knock on the door and say, "Hey, I lost power," and they look at you like they do George Bailey with Clarence, like, "I don't know you. Who are you? I don't know you." If that's the situation, you don't know your neighbors. It can be very, very. It could be. We got to build each other up. That's all I want to say. All right, so let's get back to the maps. It was 90 in Suffolk and Edenton today. It was 87 in Virginia Beach and Elizabeth City, while Wallops Island came in at 88 today. Currently it's 7:52, almost 7:53 now. Our weather headlines, this is kind of in bullet point form. It'll be muggy to end the week. It may be near 90. It'll feel like 90 plus. Weekend outlook, hot, humid with afternoon storms, and Father's Day will be steamy to start and stormy to end. And if you're playing the home game version, we've had 5 days above, we've had 7 days below normal for the month of June, and we've had a lot of rain. Look at these current temperatures. In Portsmouth, it's 85, and in, say, Ahoskie, it's 75. Some of those storms we just looked at, we tracked them, right? Some of them are rain-cooled numbers, a lot cooler here than it is in Franklin, because Franklin may not be getting that rain at this time. Right now it's 85 in Hampton, and we've got temperatures that are going to be in the low 70s for lows tonight. It's not going to be all that cool. And these dew points, if that's not something that means much to you, it's basically the temperature at which water vapor condenses. It's when it's high, the comfort level is low. It's like being in New Orleans. You feel like it's the tropics sometimes. Not always, but that's sometimes how it plays out. And if you want to know what it looks like, I mean, it was closer to 69 today. It'll be closer to 70, 75 the next couple of days. Right now it's 75 in Hatteras. That dew point number is off the chart. And it's not much better in Myrtle Beach, I'll tell you that. 76 degrees. So when you're talking about that high of a number, it makes it unpleasant. Top of the legend there. In fact, it could be downright miserable for some of you, because some of you love summer and this is like, hey, I don't mind. But others just say it's not my cup of tea. And that may be you. It may not feel like miserable weather is your cup of tea. But I digress. This is the expectation. And once these storms come in the weekend, they're going to be very slow to leave. What does that look like? It means slow. It's like hanging out here for a long time. It has nothing to kick it out. That's the problem. So if you liked it today, or if you like it tomorrow, you're going to love it the next day. It's kind of like leftovers. It's the same item up on the menu each and every day. Current temperature 79 in Hatteras. You look around the country, it's 82 in Pittsburgh, It's 83 in Hastings. It is 107 in Phoenix and 69 in Los Angeles, California. Future temperatures at 5,000 feet. This is a good indication over the next 10 days where we're going. Where you see some pink and purple, it actually goes all the way up into the Four Corners. But we will likely see by the time we hit the 20th of June, that's next Friday, that's the summer solstice. But here's some relief. The temperatures look like they're coming down. What do you think that means? What do you think this means? It means it's going to get cooler, but it could also mean a trough, which means it's more rain. It could be rain-cooled air going into the 22nd of June. That's what's projected here. So take all that into consideration. If it helps you plan, it's not going to necessarily be hot all the time, but even when it cools down around here, that just means more humidity, and at sometimes it's summer. What do you expect? Keep in mind, when I first arrived here, it was 2 days after the 10 or 11-inch snow you got on February 19th. I got here on the 21st, and there were still mounds of snow. There were like mounds of snow. You could see all the way from the Walmart parking lot. I was like, whoa, you guys did get lots of snow. So that's kind of where things are. By the way, if you haven't figured this out, we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away free pizza from Marco's Pizza with 5 convenient locations, WTKR.com/Marco's. We want to give you a free pizza. If you're watching this right now, you're part of our neighborhood. You're part of our community. We want to reward you for watching. If you go to Marcos.com, you can pick up some free cheesy bread. You could be eligible to win one large, one topping pizza monthly for the next year for free. Gotta love it. All you have to do is type the promo code WTKR Cheesy. Where are you seeing that, Aldrich? Right over here. I'll circle it for you. It's only good through Saturday because what I see, it says Deal of the Week. And that means we have just a couple more days to participate. So if you win tonight, and I'm going to announce those winners in just a few moments, if you win tonight, you can also tack on some free cheesy bread by using that promo code. All right, we're back to the maps here. I got to talk about this coolness. So hopefully by the 22nd, maybe we get a change in the pattern. Somebody was asking me yesterday, I believe it was Maryland, said, when's this rainy pattern going to change? May see it change a little bit around the 22nd, but we'll have to wait and see. Temperatures will certainly trend cooler here, West Virginia, maybe not so much East Tennessee, but Virginia Beach certainly does look a little bit cooler by the 22nd of June. That's a Sunday. Tonight's lows, there's no low here. It's still in the 70s. It is muggy. It is, well, I like to call it stuffy. It's just stuffy, low 70s. That's what we expect to find. I got to get to your comments. Let's see who's on the call. Let's check the comments section here. I got Connie. Connie, I think, is a first-time believer. Oh, she says, good evening. Hi, Connie. Connie, I know this is kind of like a somewhat pseudo-real conversation because I know you just posted this, but you're saying good evening. Oh, and she's figured this out. She's got her beautiful face right here. We'll circle her here. And if you have a weather question and you're watching live, I'll do my best. Have you picked up the free cheesy bread? Have you done that, Connie? Because it's calling your name. It could be calling your name. I hope you'll pick some up using our WTKR Cheesy promo code. All right, that's where things are at the moment. I go back to the weather. It is now 7:58. I have so much to cover. This may be not only a live stream, but a long stream today. Tonight's lows, about 73 in Norfolk, about 72 in Moyock, Corolla, 73, Nags Head, 74. Friday's planner looks like this. I've got us up to 85 at noon, and then once the rain comes in, primarily in the afternoon, we keep pushing the afternoon because with the heating of the day, it's like watching water boil. You suddenly see these storms flare up. Sun sets at 8:25, so you've got long days. That's a benefit. Long days are going to be factoring in here as we approach the summer solstice, which occurs officially next Friday. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. I call that lucky for our Norfolk Tides. They're taking on the Nashville Sounds. And they got a 60% chance of storms, but could they get it in? I think they could. It all depends on location. As you know and I know, it could be raining like cats and dogs at Newport News, but maybe nothing going on at Harbor Park. It's a point forecast, see? So if it's a point forecast, they could get the game in because they're going to be interested in selling hot dogs and concessions. I do expect to find us in the upper 70s if they are, in fact, void of any storms over Norfolk Park on Elizabeth River. Temperature trend, though, 85 normal high starts tomorrow. But look at this. Is it academic or is it just me? 90 on Saturday. It's going to feel like 93, 92. And then you got 84 on Father's Day, 85 Monday, 87 on Tuesday. It's now 7:59. Our chance of rain is, well, it's high. I mean, I can't sell it any other way. It doesn't mean you cancel your plans. Don't do that. Just be flexible in the afternoon. Mornings are going to be great. So if you've got plans for dear old dad or dear old granddad, whoever you're featuring on Sunday, maybe plan it in the morning. maybe before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's more likely the chance of rain and downpours are going to continue to grow as we head into Sunday and Monday. The amount of rain could be torrential. And speaking of which, here we go. Let's take a look at the future rainfall. By 4 o'clock tomorrow, maybe 1/3 of an inch south side. By the time we hit 5 o'clock Saturday, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And then lo and behold, what happens by Sunday? We're over an inch, inch and a half. We could have, are you kidding me? What is that? That's like 3 inches on the eastern shore. Anywhere in red could be closing in on 3 inches. That takes us to Monday evening. So to keep it simple, we got a system that's coming in, storm system's coming in, and it's going to stall. There's nothing to kick it out. Probably until Tuesday, but even by then, we still have a chance of rain. This is just over the next 4 days. That's a lot of rain. That's almost half a month's worth. The rainfall potential regionally also shows about 2 inches in Raleigh, about 1.5 inches for Nags Head, and 1.5 inches in Cape Charles. Does that help? I'm trying to do my best. Let me come back on camera. Got some more questions that might be filing in here. Ooh, who have I not talked to here? Veronica Campbell. Hi, Veronica. She says hi. Hi, Veronica. See, she's figured this out. And hopefully, Veronica, you know that there's some free cheesy bread. It's calling your name. I can hear it. You could just use WTKR. You could do it while you're live streaming with me. I think that'd be cool. And you could say, hey, it's on the way. That would reassure me that my sponsor is getting the love and attention that he desires. I hope so. I mean, Marco's is cool. I love Marco's. Been working with him now for 3 or 4 years now. But anyway, I digress. If you haven't checked this out, this is Veronica. This could be your name, and your beautiful face too could be here at the bottom right. So I'd love to see you. I'm talking to everybody at home who's watching this live. Check us out. We'd love to have you part of this neighborhood, because remember, these pictures, these were all associated with the spotlight that I was doing. I talked about that just at the top of the broadcast when I did Manio last Saturday down in Dare County. Those pictures are cycling to the left of me and on the right of the screen there. All right, so here we go. The Eastern Shore forecast for tomorrow. If you're in Onancock, if you're in Bloxham, I'm expecting mid-80s for you. If you're at Exmoor, they've got a great diner there, by the way, 84. Cape Charles, and you notice the UV index is not that high. It's only a 6. That's because we've got a lot more clouds in the forecast for tomorrow. So UV index 6, it's a mostly cloudy day, and the chance of rain picks up in the afternoon. But 84 in Exmoor, 82 Kill Devil Hills. If you're in Manio, low 80s. Nags Head, low 80s. Should be in the upper 70s for Duck. And then down toward Rodanthe, 82, 81 Ocracoke, and 81 in Hatteras. All right, so we will be wrapping up the Storm Prediction Center, the weather segment of this live stream. I want to show you these colors because they often don't mean much to people who are outside of the weather community, but inside, this is the legend. Oh, it's a legend. No, it's just the colors they typically use. And usually the first, level 1, level 2, level 3 are more common than the 4s and the 5s. We don't normally see red, don't normally see purple. But the isolated, that's the dark green, can be found on some of the areas in the country right now. This is a severe threat that they put out. This is from the Norman, Oklahoma folks. They're the men and women with the PhDs. They pull out colored pencils and they figure out where vertical motion is rising, and they will start there and then work their way to the computer. And this is how they come up with these maps. Now that's why they're colored a little bit green in South Texas. Yeah, I know this is a military town, so we got family everywhere, right? Maybe you have family in Nebraska. That's where the biggest concern for scattered severe storms may be. You look over toward Memphis, they too could have some severe storms, as we saw one momentarily here. Charlotte could be included. We could also add New York City, Allentown, possibility, and bound toward the south here. Even though we've had a severe thunderstorm pop, they don't have us under that concern. I've said this before. Sometimes they'll call an audible. You know what I mean? Like in football. They'll wait to the actual moment where we have severe weather and say, oh, we better put out an outlook. I know there's room for improvement, but this is what we have to work with. Friday, we've got some scattered severe storms all across parts of eastern Colorado, North Texas, western Kansas, all the way up toward Montana and into Oklahoma, where it could be isolated in dark green. This risk for severe weather on Friday doesn't appear, but I would still be on guard. Why would I say that? Because of the high dew points, because of the high humidity. It doesn't take much, a little spark, to create these thunderstorms. And when they do, they can drop a lot of rain, as we saw just a moment ago. But the severe weather threat does not show up on their maps. Not going to defend that. I will say that if it adds more green tomorrow, don't be surprised. Same thing with Saturday. We are not, I repeat, not under a severe weather threat for Saturday, but I think there probably should be. And that's what I'll just leave it at that. You could see Saturday's Rapid City, Oklahoma, back toward Montana and North Texas for as far as the severe weather. And there's Saturday, again, nothing here, but I think it could change. Let me show you the important map here, the Futurecast. It's 8:05, clearly I've gone long, but I have a lot to tell you. Most of what you see by 7 a.m. appears to be around Exmoor for a passing shower, but you said mainly afternoon. I know, bear with me. Tell me, does it look better at 12 noon tomorrow, based on this modeling, or does it look better in the afternoon? There was some change there. Did you see? That's 3 o'clock. Oh, it's got to look better at 4 or 5, right? Let's take it at 4 or 5. Nope, looks even worse. I mean, throw your hands in the air. You're like, oh no, are you kidding me? Are we really going to have these downpours? Are we really going to have these downpours at 5 o'clock on Friday? The answer is probably yes. Where you see red, you could get torrential rain. And we're going to do this like a lather, rinse, and repeat on Saturday. Saturday morning may not be much rain, a little bit here, looks like around Chesapeake, but it disappears perhaps by 11 a.m. It looks like the sun's popping out, but that's only going to add more instability. It's like sitting down on a three-legged chair. You sit down, whoa, I felt these storms are going to pop. There's some evidence right there. Look at that, boom. Comes right into Norfolk, comes into Virginia Beach. That's 5 o'clock Saturday. It looks just like 5 o'clock Friday. Exactly. That's my point. We're going to continue on this path for what seems like 4 days. Look at those nasty storms in Elizabeth City, just north of Duck. This is what the modeling is suggesting. And yet, for whatever reason, we don't have an outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Hope they'll change their mind. They could change their mind tonight. I can't speak. That's like trying to convince an umpire to call a ball or a strike. The way I see it, we're probably going to have some very heavy rain, and it could include some hail. Just the burgundy colors alone would suggest that there's going to be some nasty storms at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. You see what I'm saying? A Husky, you look pretty stormy, don't you, at 11 o'clock? You say, I got plans. I know. Just be flexible. The afternoons and evenings look very, very unsettled. It is Friday morning's forecast on the screen. By tomorrow morning, as you're looking at the Pagoda Oriental Garden there in Norfolk, we got 72 south side, 71 peninsulas, and low 70s in North Carolina. And highs tomorrow, I suspect, will be about 86. 86, about 86 for Norfolk, Smithfield, Moyock, Gatesville. Okay, 85 there. Corolla 79, about 81 for Nags Head. That's the way I see things shaping up. And tomorrow, yeah, we might get a little blue sky for a while, but that just is only going to add more fuel to this fire as we start to line things up. All right, it's 8:07, probably the longest I've gone to get to this 7-day forecast. We got a lot to cover. Here's your first warning. WTKR forecast. 90 on Saturday, 84 on Father's Day. Soggy at times Monday. Few storms Tuesday, and then 91, 92 Sunday, Wednesday and Thursday. I'm focused on Sunday because a lot of you will try to do something special for Dad, and if you do, I would emphasize focus on the morning when perhaps it's less active, because we're just going to be in a holding pattern, it seems like, for several days. If you've got a comment, I would like to hear it. Let me get back over here. This platform was designed to interact with you. If you first time watching, welcome to First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. I've got another note here where Marilyn Bell she's conversing with me. What does she say? She says, expecting the same soggy weather here in East Tennessee this weekend. She said, I got plans for a good book, my couch, long nap. Thank you, Marilyn. And you know what? As I like to say, all weather's interconnected. Sometimes it's interconnected in the relationships we have, right? You know somebody who knows somebody, and if you hadn't met this person, then X, Y, or Z wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? It's kind of that way. And that's why I started off with this live stream by saying sometimes you go through bumps in the road, but in the end, you're better for it. So that's my thought on that today. I'll get more into that after I get through the free pizza. We're still doing free pizza? Yeah, we're still doing free pizza. I don't want to lose you here. So let's go back to the beautiful shots. This is the strawberry moon. Farmer's Almanac calls it the strawberry moon because last night, I guess people were picking strawberries. No, they do it this time of year. That's why it's called strawberry. But I digress. This is actually coming from Amy Jordan, one of our WTKR photographers. They're very skilled with the camera. I love this. Oh, and I love this moon. Isn't this nice? Wendy Sprinkle captured this in Hampton. Love it. Thank you, Wendy, for being so thoughtful. And then, wow. I mean, talk about a pizza pie. When the moon hits the sky, thank you, Christopher. This was fun. This was really big, very large. Love it. Maybe it looks better on the big cam. Hey, it's a big moon, strawberry moon. So I digress. But before I get to the other goods, I'll reset. This is the forecast. I'm going to leave it here in case anyone joins us in midstream was like, does he even cover weather? That's all we've done so far in this process. Now, we talked a little bit about pizza and cheesy bread. So let me get to the big winners. Let me go back to, where's my first screen? Let me go back to the first. Let's do the grand prize winner. Can we do that? Maybe we need, what do we need here for this? I think we need some confetti. Yay! Okay. I knew we had some confetti in there. Let's go back to the big winner. This week, free Marco's Pizza for a year. Are you ready for this? Announcing the winner right now is Chelsea Jones from Virginia Beach. Congratulations, Chelsea. Not only did you win a pizza, one large, one topping for the month, but you get it for like 12 months. How sweet is that? We talked about how this pizza thing that we're doing was designed to make people involved. And you can add your cheesy bread on that too, using the promo code WTKR Cheesy. But this is what the certificate looks like. You'll be able to punch a hole in the card at the bottom for each month. This is June, July. You get that, and this has already been sent out, or it's in the mail now. It's on its way to you. But thank you, Chelsea Jones, for winning this week's free Marco's Pizza for a year. I know what some of you think. Well, you gave more pizza last week. Yeah, we're going to give a lot more today. We wanted to kind of spread it out. What is it? Share the love. Let's share the love. So now that we've got Chelsea Jones on the screen, and if she's watching, please leave me a comment. I would love to know what she thinks that she won. But here, this is one free large Marco's Pizza. We're going to start off with 2 of these. We got 10 actually to give away. Annette Bradley, Virginia Beach, yay! You won a free large pizza, not for the year, but just one individual certificate will be mailed. That's very cool. Also, we have Helen Spate from Virginia Beach. Congratulations to you. You have won a free large Marco's Pizza. Tawan Haran from Newport News. Tawana, congratulations to you. You are now a free pizza winner that's coming your way, a free meal. It's like to eat for free. Willard Jeanette, congratulations to you. You are a Virginia Beach winner here. Come back on camera. Here's this. I just want to know that we've got 10 of these to give away. So we're going back to Willard and Rashetta Johnson in Norfolk. You are the next, in no particular order. You just won a free Marco's Pizza. You will be getting a certificate in the mail. Very cool. Excited about Marco's because they want to have you sample their product just as like we want you to get the free cheesy bread. Rebecca Rankin is our next winner, Virginia Beach. I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to multitask because if Rebecca's on the call, I want to say hi to her. But I can tell you, we've got some serious winners. Now, this is for one large pizza. And we had just announced numbers 7 and 8. I got 2 more. We got 9 and 10. So let's do that now. And we'll put that on the screen. And here we go. Number 9 is Melanie Smith from Virginia Beach. Congratulations. And Linda White from Moyock, I believe, is our first North Carolina winner. If she's on the call, we're going to say hi to her. But she's in Moyock. And she just won one free large pizza. How cool is that? I think it's cool. I got some notes. People are like, hey, I see Marilyn says, congratulations, Chelsea, to your pizza win. So there are people who are happy for you. I love it. I love the fact that you're on here. We mentioned Nancy Barco's here. We got Connie Cannon on here. So we've got some multiple folks who might be watching at different times, but that's where things are. And again, just wanted to kind of highlight things for you. Now, I got to reset. So let me now that we've covered the forecast in great detail. It's 8:13. I know I've gone long. And we've covered, what have we covered? We covered Marco's Pizza, the winners. So let me reset, and we're going to talk a little bit about my Mayberry and some famous people and a surprise superstar that I went to high school with. So hang with me. Here we go. Okay, now they've transitioned here into a different mindset. It's like 2 different railroad tracks. If you're new to this platform, I've had the blessing of having one side of it's like a parallel universe. I have studied weather and meteorology on this side of my life, and on the earlier side, it was heavily in performance and professional acting. And in my courses of crossing paths with different actors, we've covered who my mom was, who was a former Miss USA. She was a Miss Armed Forces first when she was 16. Since this is a military town, being Miss Armed Forces when you're 16 is kind of a big deal. But I digress. I wanted to show you this again because this all started about 10 days on this job. Somebody came to me and says, were you on a Madlock episode? And they discovered that in my episode, Andy Griffith is reading a News 3 full-page ad magazine. And Kurt Williams, my current anchorman on the set, along with Jessica Larche. We were like, this is weird. Now, it's not like he reads this magazine in every episode, but he read it in my episode. And believe me, I look pretty goofy. I mean, this is like when I was in my early 20s. So if you're a Madlock viewer, he did 9 seasons of this. 1 through 6 was in LA primarily. He did a double whammy. He did a double episode, you ready for this? In Manio. When he was still in it. He loved Manio. This was his Mayberry, and his final resting place is on a waterfront property. It's not, well, I mean, it's not a secret. It's on the internet, and I confirmed it with some people at the bookstore in Manio. So this was me last Saturday. Let me go back and put this here. So when I go to this town, I have this history with this show back in the early 90s. And somebody thought, man, that's really weird. That's a crazy coincidence that he's in the episode, meaning like Kurt, and you're in the episode, and it's only in like 1 or 2 episodes that he did out of a possible 193 episodes. And I said, I'm getting goosebumps. That was a kind of a chill. And they said, how is it a weather guy like you has this, that, and the other? So that's my Andy connection. And that's why I kind of got choked up. But when I was little, and I said I had to let the cat out of the bag, we had to start from the beginning, this was me when I was 4. My mom, who was the beauty pageant winner, she received her crown, are you ready for this, in New York in August, visited the President of the United States in October, and went to London, England in November, all in the year 1961. Now, if you're an Eagles fan, where do they typically go? They go visit the White House. If you win the Stanley Cup, where do you go? You go to the White House. My mom, arguably, was the trendsetter. This hadn't been done before. Why would that be? Real simple. When my mom took the crown, Miss California was standing beside her, and so was Miss New York. They were better funded, a bigger pool of applicants. Miss California, Miss New York commonly won this thing. And back in my mom's day, she didn't have Title IX. She didn't have volleyball scholarships at Marshall. That hadn't come around. I mean, it's a coal mining state. There wasn't a lot of opportunity. But I tell you what, when Vice President Johnson took a limo and showed her around D.C., I mean, small town girl, this was big. She was only 19. She was only 19. Now, the guy on the left, Democrat Congressman Ken Heckler, he approached John F. Kennedy. I mean, this is Camelot. He's like, hey, we're very proud. You know, usually it goes to Miss California. Usually it goes to Miss New York. But we have a beauty pageant winner from West Virginia, and it was a swing state. There's some politics for you. West Virginia helped the first Roman Catholic president get into the White House, helped him cross the finish line. Maybe it was a political favor. I don't know. But now it's commonplace for the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe the Commanders someday or soon, right? I know I'm a huge Eagles fan. But Dallas Cowboys, whoever, the Stanley Cup, you go to the White House. That wasn't done necessarily in Truman's era or Eisenhower's era that I know of. So it's possible that in addition to this great book, which is hard to find, my mom did win the city, or earn the key to the city. She got her Barney Fife Honorary Sheriff's Award, and she got to meet Vice President Johnson, who had, by the way, daughters his own age. And what's amazing is that my mom, here she is again, she got a chance to meet JFK in the White House. He came, met her halfway in the Oval Office to shake her hand. But when I was little, my mom would do some runway modeling in Philadelphia, and we didn't have any daycare. I had a very unfortunate bowl cut, as I showed you here, with the cat. But that's my, like I said, I have no control where you're born or who your parents are, but this is how I got involved with acting. My mom was a Screen Actors Guild. She was a member of Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA. And then when she went to London, she had Bob Hope as a judge. And she placed 5th overall. Let's say 5th runner-up. She was 6th, it basically was. I got a picture of that too. So if you are a history buff, if this is mildly interesting, how does this connect? I'm going to connect all the dots. This is why I said I had to go long. But she was in London, and she got a chance to meet Bob Hope. What I did leave out was the fact that this is not like the biggest paying job, right? She got, let me clear this off. She got 50 pounds. Is that right? Yeah, 50 pounds. And I figured this out because I'm a numbers guy. That factors out to about $1,400 in 2025 dollars today. And a grand prize of 4,000 pounds for Miss World would be about $114,000 for the grand prize. That was it. Mom was very, very active in women's prison ministry when she got out of the business of beauty pageants, and that made an impression on me because that stuff rubs off on you. The people we meet, the people we hang out with, help shape who we are. So that, in essence, is why I was so eager to get my mom on the Wall of Fame, but what I'm leaving out is that she brought the pageant to Huntington. She brought the pageant. We had Ava Gabor as a judge. Frankie Avalon came to Huntington in 62-63. The teen idol, he came to perform. Troy Donahue, huge, popular sex symbol of the 50s and 60s, a summer place. Dale Robinson, a TV star from Tales of Wells Fargo. All of this time that Andy's filming the Andy Griffith Show in LA, a large part of LA came to little Huntington, West Virginia, which was unheard of. It was the cat's meow, all these people. Woody Herman, no relation to Pee Wee, he was an American jazz clarinetist and saxophonist, big band leader. He performed in 62-63. And who won the pageant in 62? Miss California. Who won in 63? Miss New York. It was not very common that someone from this small state could win a pageant like. And Dagmar, who was on long before Carson, Broadway Open House NBC, first late night show. She was from Huntington. Dagmar was there. She was a very popular star in the early 1950s. All this glitz and glamour is just to say that she was able to make an impact, and a lot of people have forgotten it. So I wanted to be able to, put and give back to my mom's recognition. She got on the Wall of Fame last October. She recently had her recognized in the city with the Women's Celebration in March. And of course, my dad, since it's Dad's Day, he was there to support. We were all there, very, very proud of her. All right, I did mention some other people. I mentioned the Women's Prison Ministry. I remember coming home from school, and I was probably 9 years old. I probably was, if I have time to cover this, I was probably 9 years old. I was somewhere between this age, playing soccer, and this age. But I came home and I said, Mom, there's somebody in the guest room. She said, I know. I said, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah. She just got out today. She had nowhere to go. So she's going to stay here for a couple of days. And I said, okay. Mom's making, like every mom does, making meals for everybody that's coming in the door, kids, friends included. So I started to walk away. My 9-year-old self had come back, and I said to my mom, just curious. I said, in this Women's Prison Ministry thing, I said, what was she in for? And my mom, with her great sense of humor, says, she was a kleptomaniac, so put your toys away. She was kidding, but I was like, that rubs off on me. She had the compassion to do this for 11 years, not because the pageant told her to do this, but when I was alive, I wasn't alive for the big things in Huntington, I was alive for this. And so I'm very appreciative and wanted to recognize my Mayberry was the hero that I saw in my mom. And it took me 24 years to get her back on the radar, so to speak, of Huntington, because the Wall of Fame has been around now since 1987, but they only accept about 4 or 5 people per year. So that's that. We talked about Robin Williams yesterday. I won't go so much into that, but I do want to talk about Burt Reynolds. He did come. He came to Knoxville. This was the last film he ever made, sadly, but he had a great director, Adam Rifkin, who had desired him to be in this film that he wrote. Kind of weaves in and out the idea of Smoking the Bandit and Deliverance. The movie, called Last Movie Star, was a movie that he made in Knoxville. How he chose that town, I don't know, but I do know that Adam Rifkin and the likes of Gordon Whitener and Richie Walls, Chevy Chase came to town for this movie, but it came out in about 2017 at the Tribeca Film Festival. It then came out nationally around March of 2018. And I had to exchange, I didn't have to, but I chose to. They knew I was the weather guy, so I traded in, some of you will like this, traded in my tie for a belt buckle and a Jason Aldean cowboy hat. And I got a chance to be in the part of the airport scene, which was really kind of cool. And this is what that looked like. So happy to have had that opportunity. I talked about Dead Poet Society. That was a total different situation. That's me in the corner over here with the flat top. In my coming of age movie, we all know is Dead Poet Society. I got a chance to do that as a young kid. And Robin Williams came into the soccer field that I was part of. So that was there. It is now 8:24. So I don't make this any longer than it is. Burt Reynolds, again, complicated person, like all of us, but I always like to tell people that if you look at people fairly. If you look hard enough, you can find the bad in anybody. But I choose to find the good. Andy had some complexities. I have complexities. You have complexities. But we all want to be remembered for the good things, right? So in these experiences that I've had, it's only amplified while they get a lot of people wanting their autographs and all they want to be seen. These opportunities just reinforce to me that we're all human. Last checked, we're still human. And that's what I'm trying to convey here. I told you yesterday that I got to be the guy with the dog biscuits. This is me with the dog that I had never met, and the AD said, "Stay within the frame." I said, "I'll do it." So that's what was filmed at St. Andrews in Middletown, Delaware, where I had soccer camp as a kid. So it was surreal when Robin Williams came out and he did a 25-minute improv. He was shaking hands with us and extras. He didn't have to do that. Robin was always wanting to give back. So like I said, we're all different people. So it is last moment here. I got to get to the high school friend. And I know he's probably watching or will be sooner or later here. So let me go back, see if there's any comments. This person, as I come back on camera here, this person I went to high school with was what I call, he had still does, tremendous resolve. This person may be reluctant to come to the stage, but when he did, he was amazing. Everyone in high school, we had a reunion a couple years back. He wasn't there, I think, because he was either on a shoot or doing something, but he had the #1 movie in America in 2001. If you're not aware, I will show you first. You'll laugh at me because I wouldn't do for him what I wouldn't do for myself here. Let me see if I can find where I put this on I have a very large thumbnail here. Here we go. Okay, so here's my high school picture. To be fair, my wife Stephanie, when she saw it first, she says, "Oh, isn't that cute? How old are you here?" She says, "How old are you?" "Oh, are you 12?" I said, "No, that's my senior portrait." And I happened to go to school with a very famous person. He wasn't famous at the time, but how many of you know who this is? How many of you know Sean Patrick Thomas? Oh, you know him? That's what news anchor Jessica Larche said to me. When I told Kurt and Jessica, I said, "I went to school with Sean." They said, "No way." Now, maybe you know him like this. Maybe you know him like this. Like he is a great dancer. But Save the Last Dance was his #1 breakout movie. He has scores of credits, and if I were to limit him only to film would be an injustice. Broadway, Shakespeare, TVs, the District, he's done so much. And Sean, to his credit, is a working actor, has intense resolve. He firmly determined to do something. He was amazing. He's a University of Virginia alumni. And what's fascinating is that he initially wanted to go maybe be a lawyer. Sean would have been an amazing lawyer, but he changed his mind after his senior year in high school, I think, in part, because we encouraged him, me and maybe Chris Jopes and some others, to get on stage. He was a reluctant performer. I had gotten on the stage from an early age because my mom's experiences rubbed off on me. And for Sean, he and I, we both took calculus in high school. We were the nerds. If you watched Breakfast Club, you got the nerd, the jock, the criminal, the princess. He and I were, I'm a weather nerd now, but when I took calculus, I was thinking, I will never use this. Well, I did. I had to take 4 semesters of calculus, physics, atmospheric physics when I went to NC State. And we've already established, when I was at NC State, I had Mike Brennan, the director of the National Hurricane Center. He was one of my classmates. But getting back to Sean for a moment, this is what he looks like now. I mean, he's a rock star. He's a superstar in my book, before and after. He was a tremendous friend for me in school because I had a very strange 8th grade experience. I got to share this with you, and I'm going to conclude with this. How on earth is you and Sean tight? Because when I was in 8th grade, a year before I met Sean, I had a soccer catastrophe in 8th grade. Some of you, if you have children, you have a social media catastrophe if you put out a post or you put out a picture and you can't take it back, right? I had an experience on a soccer field that I couldn't undo. I wish we all had the undo button, right? Sometimes we send a text or an email. I wish I could undo that. But when I was a young lad, when I was like 4 or 5, I got into soccer, and I told you how soccer got me on the field with Robin Williams. I had oodles of trophies from Bethesda, Maryland, Poughkeepsie, New York. I still have an attic full of these trophies. But when I got to high school, or right before high school, which is now middle school, it was my junior high, I had a goof. I had an instance where we were playing the number one opponent, and Sean got wind of this. Sean Patrick Thomas got wind of this the following year. I scored a goal, accidentally, it was like I couldn't do it again if I tried. Ball was spun in the mouth of the goal, and I hit it, and it went right back, and I scored a goal for my own team, against my own team. And at the time, when you're 13 years old, that's devastating. Some cases, people put out pictures or posts on Insta or whatever, and they can't bring it back. That's why my wife and I were always conscious of our kids, what they're posting. You can't bring it back. I was going through an emotional dilemma because I had prided myself in all the soccer experience that I had, but in 8th grade, this was a game I couldn't undo. And so the very first words, I don't even know if he knows this. I don't even know if Sean Patrick Thomas knows this. But the first words he told me in English class, because I had not met him, he was not at that game, to my knowledge. But Sean came up to me and he said, aren't you the guy? And he's laughing and smiling the way only Sean can. He said, aren't you the guy that scored the goal for the wrong team? I felt like I'd been hit hard, right? And he saw, at least I think he did, he saw how that affected me. It was so deep when you're a 13-year-old kid and you prided yourself in playing soccer well, it scarred me to the stage. It brought me to that Brandywine High School stage where I was doing the fall play, the spring musical, the fall play, the spring musical. And I said, Sean, you should come out and audition. And he said, no, man, I don't want to upstage you. And he always had that very confident feeling, but he was reluctant. When he finally did, we had Damn Yankees on the stage in our senior year, and he played a baseball player. He knocked it out of the park, no pun intended. He was dynamite, fantastic at what he did, and that little bug bit, because the next thing I know, he's running off to New York City, Tisch, the Tisch School of the Arts. He's studying at NYU, and he's doing Shakespeare, he's doing theater, he's doing everything, television series, and we couldn't be prouder. I mean, I can't speak from our fellow classmates in high school, but all of us were just beaming that we all knew Sean when, right? We knew when he was this, and now we know him like this. And so if you see Sean Thomas, he was in all the barbershop movies, Save the Last Dance, The District, Emmett Till. He's in so many credits, I've lost track, I know, but he's got a wonderful family and a support that I'm so proud of him. And I think it's just, it's everybody's complex, right? Everybody has that difference, and he's part of my Mayberry, right? He may not know it, but he's my family. I could have had that experience. We both watched an NBC soap opera because we were nerds, and I didn't know he watched it. We didn't watch it together. We would compare storylines. That soap opera, by the way, was Santa Barbara. So all those years, freshman year, sophomore year, he sat on the sidelines. Junior year, and I said, Sean, you got to try out for these plays and musicals. He said, no. He held back. But when he came on, man, he was on. And very proud of him. He's awesome. Talked more about this as needed, but I will say we've come very long. It's almost an hour. 8:33. We'll be watching the storms tomorrow and the next day and the next day. As you know, please keep this conversation going. I share you this vulnerability just in the keeping like Kurt Williams. He had prostate cancer over the last 13 months and exposed his vulnerability, and he actually helped people. I want to be vulnerable like this with you so that when I have to say those 4 words, you need to evacuate, whenever that is, that you'll believe me and you'll trust me. That's what I'm trying to accomplish with this platform. First Warning Live is about building trust. We need to protect lives and property in the weather community. We need to get people out of mobile homes when there's a tornado warning. Some people won't do it. And they're like, if you're that George Bailey character and he's seeing, like, I don't know who you are. If you don't know your neighbors across the hall or down the street, that could be a problem when there's no electricity, no power. We have to look out after each other. That's my plea, and that's my request. If I had anything that I would request, is actually just go up and ask your next door neighbor, what's your name? I'm so-and-so, I'm David. Anyway, doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. I say it doesn't matter. Every day is a gift, so make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here next week. Take care.